Hey folks, Dan here. Today I'm going to struggle with this stubborn little mini cube. Now, it's perfectly solvable in theory. It's extremely difficult to turn, and it can take a little bit of effort to get it to do what you want. So, going from a smooth speed cube to this might make you feel like you're trying to perform surgery in boxing gloves. Actually, you know what? I don't even think I've gone far enough with that. I just said that this thing should be perfectly solvable in theory. However, in practice, I don't think it was ever intended to be perfectly solvable. To be perfectly honest, if I may, this cube honestly feels like it's resisting all efforts to solve it with every fiber of its soul. And I think it has a very carefully orchestrated strategy to achieve this end. It requires so much to get it past that initial little block when you start a turn that you've forgotten what you were doing, and you can completely lose track of what part of the algorithm you're on. Thus, you have to start all over again. If this happens enough, well, you just give up and walk away in despair, which I think is the point. Nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and power through this while I talk to you about another indie comic. This time, let's have a look over at Division 5, brought to you by a one-woman show. Let's see if I get this name pronounced correctly. Roselinath. So as I said, she's the creator, writer, and the artist of this comic. And as a former webcomic artist, I appreciate, understand, and respect that level of hustle. So you can read the whole thing on Global Comics, 13 chapters as of the time of this recording. And it's arranged in a mobile-friendly vertical layout, so there's no problem reading it on your phone, and she makes it pretty easy to do so. So there's really no excuse for you not to check it out. Roselinath makes it clear at the start of each episode that it has mature language and gore, so take that under advisement if you're reading around younger eyes. So let's dive in. We meet two of our mains right away, Winter and Neil. In the first panel, we see that Winter has some pretty serious superpowers. She has the ability to form lethal constructs of ice around her arms, and she definitely knows how to use them. She's been doing this for a while. She can make knives, spears, claws, shields, whatever she needs. She is what's called in this world a winter lance, which we learn later is a mutation. So, given that the mutation has a name, and it's implied that the characters in the world are or should be familiar with it, it's obvious that she's not the only one with this mutation or some other mutation. That's a nice way of telling us a little bit more about the world without too much of an exposition dump. So the limits of Winter's power aren't made clear, but we do see her demolish a reinforced security door without so much as breaking a sweat. So it's safe to assume that if she has limits, they're pretty up there. She's able to effectively fight and defend with her ice constructs depending on the need at the moment. She can deflect bullets, break a fall, you name it. It's a handy superpower, not gonna lie. So with that established, the story begins. She and her brother Neil are bounty hunters, and we meet them in media res while they're trying to deliver on a bounty. After turning this one in, they're sent on a mission to rescue a princess, which is where they meet up with Archextent, one of our other main characters, who is revered by the locals as a demigod, but in reality, he's just a man with ultra-advanced technology. He's part of a faction of humanity who has fled the effects of a cosmic plague and is struggling to find a particular mutation which can cure it. So that little touch about him being seen as a demigod, that's another example of really good, strong world building. And we get more of that when Winter and Archextent face off. I won't go into a blow-by-blow, but I'll say that we learn what we need while we're being entertained without pausing the action. We learn that the world our story takes place on is technologically backward, and sees this group of interstellar travelers as having magical powers, which is a nice nod to Clarke's third law without beating you over the head with it. So what we have here is an engaging story about a plague, and our main character, Winter, who has a mutation which renders her immune to the plague, and this makes her the key to defeating the plague. It's a nice setup which forces these characters who are initially at odds to work together. This should lead to some fun dynamics and exchanges. So that's the story. Well, what about the art? I'm glad you asked. because the art is as much a treat as the story is. The art is idiosyncratic in a way only a creator-owned piece of work can be. This is her style and no one else's. After reading through several chapters of this comic, I dare say it might be pretty easy to recognize her style at a glance thereafter. The art is vibrantly colored, it's appealing to look at, the story's fun. The characters' personalities are consistent and distinct. It's easy to tell which line goes in which mouth without really needing to look. The same goes for their motivations. We get exactly what they want and why. I love it. So, in summary, I definitely suggest checking it out. I'll leave links to Roselinath's socials and where you can support her work in the link below the video. I like to stress again here what I stressed before. Support creators like this that put their work out there, all their time and effort and energy, freely available. If you check out this comic and you enjoy it, please make sure you support her. There are many ways you can do so, and as I said, I'll provide links below. Thanks for taking a trip out to Division 5 with me today. Thanks for watching me struggle with this recalcitrant minicube, and I appreciate you watching the video. If you liked it, please remember to hit like and subscribe, you know the drill. I'll be back later with more. Till next time, stay safe, stay sane.